Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Is my mic on? I'm the same issue with.
Are your plugged in?
No, I had to move it. Like you told me yesterday, I
Okay.
just moved it. Now it came on, unless you hit a button, but it went
No,
ding.
I think there's a loose.
Hey, real quick, over to your right. Do you see a white piece of paper that I left laying down?
Not that I can see.
It's not here. I'll be back. I gotta go.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Hold on, I'll bring it to you.
Thank you. Good morning, Ben. Oh, thank you, bud. Hey guys, welcome into the show before.
The show before the show.
No, it's working now. You heard me fine though, Lizzie?
I heard you fine.
Good. Welcome to the show before the show. No, it's good, buddy. Thank you. How are you doing, Lizzie?
I'm great. How are you? Yeah, Oh, good. The sun is shining.
We'll talk about it too. 80th anniversary of D-Day. Hope everybody's rocking and rolling, ready for a big show. Thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing the show.
You know it's going to be all right. You see Trump's head behind your head, Vic. You know it's going to
Exactly.
be a good day. It's going to be a good day to have a good day.
I
Pro Joe already in there fixing my computer this morning. So much going on, even before the show even starts, that I throw at Joe.
Okay. I haven't had a chance to look, but I'll say it in the pre-show. Why is there all of this scuttlebutt now about Ron DeSantis being picked as a VP again? I did not think this was legally possible. Can somebody please give me the rundown of what is right and what is wrong? Because I did not think it was legal.
I know it's Ron DeSantis, and did you hear Marco Rubio?
Well, he's been on the list for a long time.
Correct,
but
they both live
of Florida.
Correct.
Somebody educate me.
I thought they could not both have a residence there, but maybe one of the two of them have a residence somewhere else. Even Trump has a residence somewhere else. So we don't know if between now and the election, he can just change his address to one of the other residences. And I think you can do that. I'm going to guess that's how, if it's something different, I don't know. And Marco Rubio kind of surprises me a little bit, but that's two on the list from Florida. But I think that's what it is. You can change your address still. You still have time.
Yes, we got that going on. Show before the show. Thanks for jumping in, everybody.
Yeah, Chris Steiner, too, is saying Trump has a New York residency, so a Florida-based VP is not an issue. Rubio is a name to appease the establishment, right? I can't see Donald making that big.
I thought we've already gone down this sort of establishment with Pence. Let's hope.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I think, too. So, I mean, that really surprises me if it's Rubio. I hope he doesn't do him. Just because we did go down this road with Pence before. He needs to pick DeSantis, great choice. But I don't get the Rubio thing. I don't. And there's three of them or so that it's literally, they're doing the deep dive, more of a background check on a few of them.
Hey, by the way, before we start the show, for our listeners throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area, the air show.
Yes.
Back this year. I believe it's 11:30 to 4:30 is when they're flying.
Mm-hmm.
Wenty's, one of our sponsors. An amazing place to watch. There's no better place to watch it than Wenty's.
Absolutely.
You're right there.
Yeah. You need to come out to the Wenty's location in Chesterfield for sure. Great place to watch it. You can go in and get wings and like a French dip and their pizza and great drinks while you're watching it. How perfect would that be?
Mitch says he has the right to choose anybody he wants.
Yep,
I get it.
yeah, I do too. And like you said, Vic, you're not really that worried about the VP, but just if we end up in the same position, I thought Mike Pence did a lot of damage to Trump. So I really very much do care about the VP.
Buffalo chicken salad. That's a new favorite from Winty's, I've heard. Let's go, Pro Joe. What's that about?
You guys missed it.
What happened? What did we miss?
Well, when I was going to do this during the show, when Vic's like, "Oh, Joe, we need to see your camera," I was going to do this. I was going to do this, and how about that?
I love it. I love it.
More of you is better than none of you.
Great. That's great. Somehow I missed that looking down at my phone.
Yes, sir.
I like that, Pro Joe.
Do it right there.
Good job, Pro Joe. Pro Joe is on a roll.
Yeah, we'll get into that in just a little bit here. A couple minutes here. Thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing the show. Let's make sure people know what we're up to here today.
Yeah, we're up to something.
I'm trying to remember. I got caught up this morning with some business I didn't think I'd be dealing with, so I was a little behind.
Your mornings sound like my mornings.
Yeah, some mornings are like that, aren't they?
Yep. We're on a never-ending journey for truth here.
That's right.
Truth.
Will set you free.
Truth.
Truth.
Truth and facts. Facts
That's
and
right.
truth.
And sometimes the truth and facts surprise you when you really figure out the answer to it.
Hey, Joe, by the way, shout out for Rumble. Allegedly, Rumble has released some revolutionary streaming technology that will obliterate the competition. The new feature allows companies to buy advertising on live streams and gives creators the ability to make money instantly.
Well, we need to be doing that.
I will look into it.
And it'll be interesting about the live stream because our Rumble, we have a lot more people listen to Rumble after the fact. We have people live there too, but that would be interesting if that still counts.
Yeah, we get a decent amount every day. It's a consistent amount every day.
Yeah, it's consistent, but the majority of it is still, several hours afterward that they listen on Rumble. Bendy says, "Truth, justice, and the American way."
I would, is that Superman's?
Is that Superman?
I don't know. What Truth, Justice, and the American Way? Where's that from?
Yeah, Bendy, tell us. She'll figure it out. You tell us. Yeah,
I want to say that's like Superman's. Tagline or something.
I wonder if a president said it.
Or maybe it's the Justice League. I don't know. It's some sort of comic book thing, I think. Superman, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It's a catchphrase of the comic book character Superman. In the 1940s, it was a way to cheer on the American military efforts in World War II. Good job, Bindi. How to tie it all together in the 80th anniversary of D-Day. It was the first Superman comic books by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster.
Okay. Sorry, Joe. We'll go ahead and get going. My fault. My bad.
And away we go.
Hey guys, welcome into the show. Cancel this show, canceltheshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe. And all of you who make up our listening audience at canceltheshow.com. News headlines, politics, political interviews, of which tomorrow we've got Will Scharf coming back on. He had been assisting with the Trump legal defense when it came to the hush money trial in New York. So Will's going to take some time to jump in tomorrow. It's going to be at 9 o'clock. So Fridays we're kind of all over the place, but we'll have Will.
That'll
At
be
9
great.
o'clock, kind of sum up what's happening with the appeal process. We'll get into what former Attorney General Bill Barr has to say about that as well, coming up in the show today. We're here on, as you know, Facebook, X, Rumble, which we were just talking about, Cloud Hub. You can find us on YouTube as well. Please like, subscribe, share the show. You know what we do here? We have fun. We get things going. Have you had blue nail polish on, or is that new?
I've had it on all week.
Oh, I like it.
Thanks.
I like it. I like it a lot. So, guys, thanks for letting people know what we got going on here. Also, if you want to jump in on the show, the People's Platform is there. We appreciate it. We try to get to you. We try to read your comments. Both of us do at any time that we possibly can. And, of course, if you have ideas, stories, interviews, let us know. We'll try to get to all of that stuff as well. All right. We're ready to get into it for today. We've got news with 50 Cent and the black vote. The rapper, 50 Cent. 50 Cent.
You guys have 50 Cent.
50 Cent.
50 Cent.
We also have a great Trump ad on Biden. Trump, I thought he hit a home run.
I did too.
Again last night on
great.
Hannity. He really, really kicked ass on Hannity. And he didn't say anything that he hasn't said already. I mean, it's just reiterating who he is, what he's going to do, and make sure that people know that he's not messing around. He's got a new list of VP candidates. I mean, the same names, usual suspects, but it is the, quote, vetting that's going on now that he's taking care of. Very interesting. Lizzie found a great story. What the number one voting issue for Gen Z appears to be.
Yeah, it's the housing industry.
Oh, you gave it away.
Oh,
Lizzie!
I thought it was a question that you
That's
were
a
asking me.
tease.
I'm sorry. Act like you didn't hear me. Don't hear me, people, so that when Vic asked it again, you could act like it's the first time you heard it. Mm-hmm. Spoiler. Sorry.
The last time you made me speechless is when you were talking about Thick Vic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there you go. We'll get into that. You know what, though? But there are times where I set you up.
Yeah, I thought you were setting me up to
and
be
you,
the student, and I'm supposed to answer.
And you hit it out of the park every time. So I have responsibility in that.
I don't know about that, but I probably should have read that better, that you were setting the tease up. And I just was so excited because it's affecting my kids, and they would agree with that.
Robert says the topic you guys should deal with is pros and cons of universal basic income.
Yeah, for sure.
There's pros?
That's a big topic right now of like the millennials and the Gen Zs right now. So that's like, well, they're talking about that.
Oh my God. God help us.
Mm-hmm.
You did not just say that.
I did.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yep.
I lost all train of thought here on the show.
I know. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know why you lost train of thought, don't you? It's because we're looking at our youth, that some of them are not in reality, and some of them they really are. They're working really hard, but they cannot get ahead. So then they revert to talking about that stuff. So it's just, we got to pray for our youth. We really do.
I agree. Man. Anyway, somebody said we were having those Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon moments.
Mm-hmm.
I love it, Kathleen. As I always say, DEI did not earn it.
Yeah.
No to base income, 100%. That is DEI. Can't stand it. So anyway, we'll get into all that stuff coming up today. Special shout out for 80th anniversary of D-Day. You want to go from talking about DEI and give us this, give us that, we deserve this, we deserve that. 80th anniversary of D-Day. Remember and honor, especially in the year 2024, especially when everybody thinks that we deserve this and we deserve that, and it's the me generation, and the me disease is such a problem, and I matter and my feelings matter, and I can whack off my penis and you need to accept it. And these kinds of times, when people like my grandpa stormed the beaches and survived, and as I'm told, wouldn't even talk about it.
Yeah, they were so humble about it.
wouldn't even talk about it. Yet my dad is here because of that, and I'm here because of that, and the others who stormed and lost their lives, and of course those who made it, like
That's right.
my grandpa on D-Day. So
God
that's
bless your grandpa.
well, that's a God thing.
Yes, it is.
It wasn't his time. No, it wasn't. Against staggering odds, men knowing what their fate were got in to those boats and went over, and people were signing up, couldn't sign up fast enough to go into our military, and you look at where it is now. Yeah, it makes me sad. It makes me feel strong and the chill feeling, but it also makes me sad and depressed
Yeah.
to feel where we are in the year 2024 and what we've allowed to happen and infiltrate this country.
Yeah.
So Peg says, my husband's dad landed on Omaha that day. So happy God spared him as well.
That's right.
Those stories, when you hear about what's happening and you see what's happening with our border, and then you have a president like Joe Biden administration weaponizing the DOJ and going after a political candidate who's basically dominating the polls. So special thanks to everybody who knows somebody and those who served in World War II, serves in any war, their service, and of course on D-Day. And then we've got Biden parading around France as if he's some sort of American hero.
Well, and just a little bit of the speech I heard on the way in here. He's just such a disgrace. He's just mumbling and bumbling, and he went to the DEI. He had to go and talk about, the color of people's skin and all of that, and that they didn't even have the privileges, but yet they had to go fight. That's great and all, and I agree with that, but he went into the DEI part of it. I was like, he is so embarrassing.
Robert says, I get the feeling, not my usual. I rely on thinking the same as D-Day causes are in play again. Might be. Whenever I hear that word border, it just infuriates me. That coming from the chat line. Surprised he didn't say, I was there on D-Day. I remember my hairy legs and
His hairy legs, and he was there with his Uncle Bozy.
I remember those from Mexico who were fighting with us, and they need their spots here in America. Holy moly. Once again, he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't write his speeches. He is Joe Biden.
He's Joe Biden.
It's a joke what's happening across seas. But hey, it is what it is. We paid tribute to those, and we know what he's about, and we know it's not going to get any better, and we can't get rid of him quick enough. That's for sure. We've got a lot of these stories to get up to, and we are people coming into the show. I just like doing scorecard stuff. That Hunter Biden trial still going. By the way, it also came out he got his deceased brother's wife after he died hooked on crack.
That's terrible.
Cocaine. Then he started abusing her, and she was all in. I mean, you get somebody on drugs, and then you get him addicted, and then of course, then he made her his. I mean, it's just everything about this lying crackhead, nasty, crime-filled, disgusting, sexual. Just ugh. I know people like that too. And it's just nasty, the lives that they live and who they are as people. It doesn't mean you can't change, but when you're lying and denying and
hurting people,
it's just bad. And I remember, and I believe in scorecards, so I wanted to start the show out today with it. Yeah, he's trash. All of us can overcome via a change of heart, via a looking to God for help.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter how dirty or bad we are. We can change, but we have to want to change. We have to want to make that change. And there hasn't been any of that we're going there. Biden's sleazy. Yeah, of course. Scott, what about his uncle that got ate by cannibals in New Guinea in World War I?
That's right.
Yeah. Senator Ernst talked about that on a hot mic the other day as well. Vic from Paul, but he has his shit together now because all the other finger painting therapy that he's been doing. Back in my day, cannibals rubbed my hair legs. And I said, do you know the thing? And I asked them, why would Putin invade Russia? Then I said, repeat the line. Morning, folks.
Come
Roland,
on, man.
Roland, that was outstanding.
That was. And you just want to say to him, come on, man.
Robert says Hunter will be found guilty. It's who you know.
He will or he won't.
He will be.
Yeah.
Oh, he will not be found
that's
guilty.
what I thought.
Yeah, that's what we all say.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to do jail time. Sherry says all the photos, including kiddie porn, now available to the public. We've known this for years.
That's right. We have known.
And then you had idiots, complete buffoons on 60 Minutes parading around like they're true journalists, and they never have been. It's been decades and decades before we had true journalists in the mainstream media. Why can I speak to this? Because I was one, and I knew it for 25 years. They're liars. They're paid for informants. And Leslie Stahl, one of the worst, and I repeat, one of the worst paid for journalists in the history of America. And she should never be forgotten for what she truly is and was. She was a weapon meant for attack, meant for weaponization. And the story that we'll show you is when Donald Trump, because remember, Joe Biden wouldn't do interviews with Leslie Stahl in 60 Minutes. Trump would. And Trump was treated horribly.
Terrible.
Horribly. And Leslie Stahl, wherever she may be today, shame on you. You're an embarrassment to journalism. You're an embarrassment to anything that you've ever tried to do. If I was your family member, I'd be embarrassed of you. Just remember, I always talk about scorecards. Remember, people will show you who they are. And Leslie Stahl in this interview, just remember this, because now, as I set it up, the Hunter Biden laptop has been proven to be real. And we knew it was real all along. The left tried and did everything they could. And they had 51 Army people say, oh, nothing, CIA, nothing is real about this. They were forced to sign a document saying it wasn't. Now, oh, she's trending on Twitter. Go figure. This was the interview she did with Donald Trump, trying to say that Donald Trump was making up stuff when it came to the laptop. Once again, this is why Donald Trump is the most popular political person in the history of our country, because he's right. And when he says something, he's always proven to be true after the fact. Here it is.
You know, this is 60 Minutes. And we can't put on things we can't verify.
You won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
We can't put on things we can't verify.
Leslie.
You know what you told me a long time ago when I asked why you keep saying fake in the media?
Yeah.
You said to me, I say that because I need to discredit you so that when you say negative things about me, no one will believe you.
I don't have to discredit you.
But that's what you
You've
told me.
discredited yourself.
You told me that.
Leslie, you've discredited yourself. When you say that you're not going to cover Biden, you're going to ask him what flavor ice cream he has, okay?
That's not
Instead
me.
of why did Hunter get $3.5 million from Moscow? Instead of why is an energy company paying your son $183,000 a month or whatever they're paying him, and he has no experience in energy. You know, you discredit yourself. I don't have to discredit you.
So this story about Hunter and his laptop, some repair shop found it. The source is Steve Bannon and Rudy Giuliani.
I don't know anything about
And
that.
you're
I just know it's a
making this-
laptop,
and
and they
you're-
haven't.
And you're making this one of the hottest, most important issues in your rallies.
It's a very important issue to find out whether or not a man's corrupt who's running for president, who's accepted money from China and from Ukraine and from Russia.
All these
Yeah, I think
things
that's
have
an
been
important issue.
investigated and
It's
discredited.
incredible the way you can try and say this and sit there and look me in the eye and say it.
A Republican
He accepted money,
committee-
his family, from Russia, from Ukraine, from China, and from other places.
and a
His
Republican-
brother, who didn't have experience, became a big builder in Iraq without experience. Take a look at what's going on, Leslie, and then you say how that shouldn't be discussed.
I'm saying,
It's the biggest scandal out there, Leslie, and you don't cover it.
because it can't be verified.
You want to talk
I'm
about
telling you.
insignificant things.
I'm telling you.
Of course it can be verified. Excuse me,
We
they
cannot
found the
verify.
laptop. Leslie,
It can't be
Leslie,
verified.
what can't be verified?
The laptop.
Why do you say
And you know what, Vic, at the time of the interview, the New York Post had already verified the laptop.
Yep, they had. That's what he was getting ready to tell her, too.
Yep. And the FBI had it since December of 2019.
It's interesting because we all know what the mainstream media is. Leslie Stahl, an embarrassment. The rest of her 60 Minutes cast, an embarrassment. It's just like every other mainstream news, but you have to call them out again to show
Yes.
they were wrong, just like Fauci was wrong. Birx came out stating, yes, we covered up the lab story when it came to COVID. These are facts. These aren't our opinions. We're showing you facts. Facts every day. We're about truth. Everybody should be about truth in their life. Annette says, can't stand Leslie Stahl. She is so disrespectful. Yeah, of course she is. She's a liberal plant.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
She did a disservice to journalism. She has to look herself in the face every day, and she won't be issuing an apology because,
they double down.
She's an embarrassment.
They do. They just double down.
Mainstream media is an embarrassment. They don't, it just, and that's why we do what we do and appreciate any support that we can get. We're not trying to be mean, but we're trying to be factual. And if you feel we're mean, we're sorry. Scarf Lady wants to test every single cow for bird flu as well. That's Birx.
Yeah. 1 minute I think, okay, thank you, Scarf Lady, that you admitted you were wrong because it shows you have some integrity. But then she goes and does this. She's still, I don't know why she admitted it because she's still the same person. But these people, I think they should all be in jail.
Robert says people hear convicted felon. That's all they hear.
Mm-hmm.
Not the railroading. But once again, you're not going to change somebody's mind who's already got Trump derangement syndrome.
Correct.
Those are issues. Those are issues that are taking place. Also, Paula says Biden has a home on St. Croix. Bill Clinton lived in Little Rock, and we still hated him in Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
I get so frustrated, especially since I spent so much of my life doing this, reporting stories, covering stories, relaying news, speaking. And then you have people like Leslie Stahl, Laura O'Donnell, Gayle King, all say whatever they want to say to get their money. And there's no truth and nobody holds them accountable. Well, we're going to hold Leslie Stahl in 60 Minutes accountable. And we're going to show that Donald Trump was right about the laptop, which is why he's right about everything else and why you can't trust the government when they tell you these things, which is why you can't trust Joe Biden. You can't trust his administration. You can't trust the Biden family.
No, they just lie and lie and lie.
We hate it, but just remember, Trump was right. The laptop existed. All those government officials were liars. Shame on them. Shame on their families for signing what they did. And at the end of the day, once again, all it does is promote Donald Trump. He continues to kick ass, take names, and get better by the day. And we love it. We love it when we see that. The Trump campaign, by the way, has a new ad out. I like this on Joe Biden.
It's good stuff.
I don't know. It's what it is. Joe Biden is who he is. The worst president in the history of this country, as we know. So, Trump is going to, here it is. Here's the ad.
I'm not a young guy. That's no secret. Anyway.
How about that?
Great ad.
Yeah, for our listeners on the podcast, it showed Joe Biden stumbling around, bumbling around, falling at least 4 times, looking left, looking right, confused, shaking hands with nowhere, spinning in circles, looking confused, looking around, losing his train of thought. The Trump ads are fantastic. They kick ass because it's real. I mean, it is real. They don't have to make up anything about the competition. They don't have to make up anything about Biden. And it really, it really makes me feel sorry for Democrats. And I'm not trying to be mean, that Democrats are so lost with a man. I mean, if you voted for another Democrat, maybe I could get it, but not Joe Biden.
No. That's exactly right, Vic. There's some Democrats that talk great. They say things that maybe liberals want to hear, but not this guy. I mean, this guy is lost. He's absolutely lost. We already know that Jake Sullivan and Obama's running the show. This guy doesn't even know what he's doing. And he was even embarrassing this morning on talking about D-Day. I mean, he's just DEI, because he didn't write that speech. He did not. He doesn't care about black people. We all know he's racist. So his handlers wrote that speech. But that ad was classic. It was great.
No, they are. His ads and his team are putting together really amazing ads.
Mm-hmm.
They really are. I mean, they're top notch. They continue to show what's actually happening. They continue to show what he can do as opposed to Joe Biden.
That's right.
Peg says, I blame Jill still. That always happens.
Yeah.
Not just other countries, but most people here in the United States understand how weak we are because of him.
That's right.
Trump didn't even have to say a word.
Mm-hmm.
Did not. And of course, you won't see his ads on mainstream media.
No, you won't see that.
But I still think we already know that the majority of Americans are going to vote for Donald Trump for president.
Mm-hmm.
We know legal Americans will vote for him. What's interesting is even that being the case, I still think you have a great deal of those Americans who don't even get to see these ads.
That's right.
That have no idea how bad Joe Biden really is.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they do, the Democrats keep it quiet. No, let's push it under the table.
They
Let's not do that. Case in point, while we're on Joe Biden, this has now come out. The Wall Street Journal has reported that when they were doing a story about Joe Biden's cognitive ability, they spoke to several Democrats who had nothing but poor things to say. Literally poor things to say about Joe Biden and signs of, quote, slipping, and how many gaffes he was making in public and behind the scenes, displaying low energy. These were the things that these several Democrats told the Wall Street Journal. Well, then what happened on top of it? The Wall Street Journal said, we have now come to believe and seen with proof, quote, the White House kept close tabs on some of the Wall Street Journal's interviews with Democratic lawmakers. After the offices of several Democrats shared with the White House either a recording of an interview or details about what was asked, some of those lawmakers then called the Wall Street Journal back a second time, and then, changing their tune, emphasized Biden's strengths. So that White House found out that Democrats were giving their honest opinions on how lost this man is, and Democrats know it. They hate Trump so bad they'd rather have him instead of the country prospering. So what happened? The White House contacted these Democrats and said, go change your tune right now, because that's what Democrats do. They have everybody in a line. Everybody's in their evil little line, and you stay there. Republicans don't do that because there's no control with Republicans. They're out and about, up and down, all over the place. But one Democrat specifically admitted, Representative Gregory Meeks out of New York, he revealed it. He talked about the White House's efforts to change his story to the Wall Street Journal. This is what they try to do over and over and over again. And of course, Democrats won't talk about the story, but thank God Fox News did the story so that we would be able to see that. I mean, hello, people.
Hello.
You already know they're trying to control everything. They gaslight over and over again. He has no strength. His only strength is destroying the United States of America in record time, doing what no other country has ever been able to do to the United States. Joe Biden and the behind the scenes people, Jake Sullivan and the Obamas, have done more to destroy America in a short amount of time than anybody in the history of this country. And they'll continue to gaslight people. We already saw what the White House has tried to do when it came to the weaponization with Donald Trump. And then, of course, when it came to, quote, COVID, and then when it came to the 2020 election. We talked with Andrew Bailey, the Missouri Attorney General, who's kicking ass on a national scale when it came to editing and limiting your comments on social media in 2020. These are the things that have happened.
Yeah, and in 2020, it was so obvious they were doing that. In 2016, people were speculating, were people getting censored on social media? But they tried to hide it and gaslight us and act like they weren't really doing that. 2020, everyone knew they were doing it. They were almost bragging about it, but they didn't care because they were going to do whatever they could to, interfere with our elections.
Well,
And now it's just as bad, but we have, fortunately, some platforms like Elon Musk that opened it up to everybody. So that's a plus. So I think we're better off now because, first of all, we know what they were doing to us. They know we know. And there's powerful people that didn't like it, like Elon. And there's other platforms that have opened up, like Truth and Rumble. And there's places that you can go. And now, even with, when they shadow ban us on the big things like YT and FB, and I'm saying that for a reason that I said shadow ban, we know how to get around that most of the time by not saying certain words that flag us. So we're way better off than we were in 2016 and 2020. So they can keep trying to do this to us, but we see what they're doing.
We do, and we're going to report it every day. Paul says if people's eyes aren't open by now as to how things are regulated leading up and during the election, they never will be. I agree.
I agree, Paul.
If you don't see by now, then you don't want to see.
You don't want to see it. That's right. You are willfully being ignorant because you don't want to, for whatever your reasons are. A, because you say you're not political, or B, because you're going to double down that you were wrong, or you're a lifelong liberal. Whatever your reason is, you would know by now, for sure.
From the chat line, I worry about the winter season, election, food, energy, and maybe even more.
Mm-hmm.
Governments attack the people in winter, citizens right in the summer. Damn, we're really going full go there, my friend.
Yeah, that's true, though.
It's true. What do you mean true?
Well, because they do it little by little by little by little. And so just look what they did with diapers they had, and then formula. They create these big issues that is this big hysteria, almost as a distraction, and then we pay attention to it. But then it never, like Robert is, I think, saying here, then it never quite goes back to normal. And they seem to do these things in the winter months when people don't get out as much. And all of these big issues that they're doing to us, we just focus it on the morning. At the moment, it was a big deal, the whole formula thing, and it was big to me at the time because I had a granddaughter that you couldn't find formula for. But you know what? It still hasn't changed. Yes, you can find the formula, but there's less of it and it's more expensive because it was an oddity. So they're going to keep doing this to us and keep doing this to us. And basic needs are becoming a real issue.
Okay. I refuse to talk bird flu. But Terry says first case of bird flu, human cross-contamination, not even a farmer.
Well, you can't refuse to talk about it, Vic, because
I refuse to accept any
that
of
it's a thing.
This BS stuff that they're putting on us.
Yes. Well, I do think that she's right in bringing it up because that's what they're going to do. There is labs right here in the United States that they're testing different things to contaminate things and different diseases. I mean, it's right here and nobody's stopping it. And so, okay, bird flu sounds stupid and we're not going to fall for it again. I agree with you, Vic. We're not going to fall for it again. We're not going to put the masks on our face. We're not going to run and go put jabs in our arms. But there's still the people that get scared very easily that are going to buy into this.
Robert says bird flu death in Mexico. I mean, but there's people who are dying from certain things. There's people who die of all kinds of things that are not brought up in the national media or international media as well. But they'll pick and choose certain things from a media standpoint that fits the narrative to make sure that we can fearmonger, that we can try to have some sort of control over society, which pisses me off because
me too.
We lived that once and we're not going to do it again.
You're not going to do it again.
Hell no.
I'm not going to do it again. Our listeners are not going to do it again. And most of us didn't do most of it at all that listen to the show. That being said, there's a whole segment of our society that is already talking about the bird flu and about, oh my gosh, what are we going to do about this? Did you see that?
Well, yeah, you'll have reporters and anchors and producers try to push it.
That's right. That's exactly right.
They will all try to push what they can do to scare people. Oh my God.
Yes. And like Kimberly's saying, the journalists are already asking, could this be another C? I mean, they're already trying to push it. I don't think it's going to be as big of a deal as it was the last time, but they're going to try anything. They're going to throw anything at us between now and November, because if it even stops 100 to several thousand not voting because they're afraid to touch anything, there are those people out there.
Maybe if you die of the flu and you have a bird, voila.
There you go.
You have bird flu. That sounded like some of the That sounded like what we heard before. That's for sure.
Yeah. And
Terry says, just want to stay ahead of this.
And I think she's right in doing that. And Bendy's like, good grief, wash your hands, people. I mean, really, that is the truth. Just, if you would just wash your hands when you go into the bathroom and you just wash your hands a couple times a day, you're not going to get this stuff anyway. And just don't, lick your fingers.
Me being the germaphobe, I always have hand sanitizer on deck.
Did I see you when you just said that, Joe?
Yeah,
No,
he's coming, and now he's going to see.
Yeah, you guys were trying to be smartasses to me in the beginning of the show, and we didn't see you. Okay, that's what I thought. All right.
Yep, that's our job, is to be smart.
Because it's important. There he is.
There he is with the hand sanitizer. I have mixed.
Oh, it almost looked like a little like a flask bottle.
That's what it is. He's telling you it's hand sanitizer. There's really vodka in there.
For people who don't know, Pro Joe is one of the, I guess, most passionate, I will call, this is my word, passionate germaphobes that you will ever encounter.
I just think he's very cleanly.
I've never met anybody like Joe ever.
Then you haven't lived.
In my life.
See, ever. I think he's a normal, clean person. That he just likes to clean up. Thank God he does, because he cleans up our computers and all this kind of stuff. We love him for that. That's right. But I've seen some germaphobes that are way worse.
More so?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. People that wash their hands till they bleed.
Yeah, and there's people like
okay, that's a mental illness.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's those people.
I'm borderline. Let's just put it that way.
I know you are.
But and think about this.
You followed me around one day with hand sanitizer wipes for an hour, and I'm like, why is this guy following me
because
around?
You had boogers,
and he was spraying me with Lysol, and I'm like, what the hell's going on?
That's totally me.
Well, and that is totally him. But let's tell the truth. Every one of us have come in here, and guests and other people, because we're not that concerned about it, that we're almost positive we had C in here,
without a doubt.
And we've worked here knowing one or two of us might have even had it, but we still work. So that's just Joe taking care of us, because we don't not come to work because we even have what Fauci tells us to stay home about. That's not kept the show not running. So we might not have broadcasted it, but I'm just blabbing it now.
I might have an immune system of like Superman. However, everybody else probably doesn't. So I got to keep it clean for everybody else, not myself.
Well, and I remember the first time when I came to work here too, and I'm like, okay, somebody in here has the C. And Vic's like, we work here anyway, no matter what we got. And I'm like, thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. We work anyway around here.
I'm not.
Gotta work.
I was like, I'm not getting into this.
That's
not getting in. No, I don't want to make anyone mad, but hand sanitizer isn't good for you. It's not. And I wasn't going to say it. Hand sanitizer is.
I don't use it.
You should not use it.
Yeah, I don't.
The chemicals absorb into your skin, and if you eat right after and then ingest those chemicals into your body because they are there.
Yeah. They're
hormone disruptors. Washing with soap and water is the best, of course.
Okay, think about that.
Well, what about what's in the soap? I mean,
It depends on what kind of soap. I use soap at home that's from Melaleuca. So
I have no idea what you just
Vic
said.
knows what that is.
It's awesome.
It's really good stuff. That's how even our cleaning products are that. It's like it's totally organic, and it's I don't know, you could even ingest it and you don't get anything in you.
Well, what's really weird is here I use hand sanitizer, but at home I use just plain alcohol wipes. Like I just go straight to the source.
Wow. I bet if we tested you are drunk all the time.
Well,
maybe.
Well, you never know where the show's going to go, but it is interesting because Peg says, I've been a nurse for 40 plus years. And if you can pop that quote up, Joe, when you see it there, that would be great, because I lost it as I was looking down, because this is clearly a subject that got people very excited. I've been a nurse for 40 plus years dealing with highly infectious diseases. Hand washing is key. By the way, studies have shown hand sanitizers do nothing. You are better to use water and friction than a hand sanitizer formula.
I just feel cleaner and my hands smell better. I don't know.
Well, maybe they smell better, but that's not healthy. And that probably negates your lemon water, Joe.
Well, this is Purell Naturals. So apparently there's all kinds of natural things in here.
Like we believe that, Pro Joe.
Common sense, everybody. tea tree oil. Never heard of tea tree oil.
Oh, tea tree oil is the
Oh, yeah.
best. It's all natural too. Okay,
Yeah.
so here's a good advice. If any of you get, say, like a canker sore, or you get like a fever blister, a cold sore sort of things, the doctor wants to give you a medication for that, or they want to give you Blistex, which also is not good for you because you have to ingest that. If you just put tea tree oil on, it makes it go away just as fast. I am very prone to cold sores. As soon as I put tea tree oil on it, it goes away. But when I used to use Blistex and all that, when I didn't know that was bad for you, they would just linger on and on and on. And I found that if it's something that God created or something that came natural, there was a purpose for it. We just got to figure the purpose for it.
Why lemons? I mean.
Yeah.
Hand sanitizer was originally for when water wasn't available for washing. Really?
Correct.
I'm learning a lot of things about hand
Yes.
sanitizer today. How about just a vinegar and water solution for cleaning surfaces, Joe? Would that work?
That would absolutely work. I use
Yeah.
vinegar in my laundry.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
How did you follow your kids around? Were you this way growing up your entire life?
I was not.
So what made you be that way now?
Nancy, we were made from dirt.
I would have to say
We're made from dirt.
it would have
Good
to
for
be
you.
the C word. It would,
Okay, so you
really
became
kinda,
like that after the
yeah.
C. And a lot of people did. They really did.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
remember the people that actually, when they got their groceries, that just
They'd
cracked me
wipe
up.
them down.
They would
yeah.
wipe their
I
groceries
wasn't that bad.
down.
I wasn't that bad.
Well, and it's okay. I get maybe wiping down the cans because you didn't know who touched them if you were afraid you were going to get the C. But it was like wiping the bags down or waiting. Your groceries are sitting on the front porch and you got to wait XYZ amount of time before you can touch it because then the C dies on the bags. I'm like, oh, for the love of Pete.
Okay. I'll entertain one more of these. Just don't mix vinegar with detergent. You're defeating your purpose with the pH levels.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Okay, so our chat line is brilliant.
So what I normally do is I put the vinegar in the fabric softener thing where
Okay.
it puts it in later.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe that's okay. I don't know.
yeah, it's separate. I mean, the soap
I don't
goes in
know.
first, then the vinegar goes in the.
Do you remember Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory by
I
chance?
do, yeah.
Roland says that was him. Complete germaphobe, germ
Oh
free.
yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
you?
No, that's not me.
Peg says, "Oh my God, I remember people cleaning their mail.
Yes.
This is
Oh
why
my
we talk
God.
scorecards
That's
so that
right.
you never forget the bullshit that the government will try to do to
Yes.
you and throw
Mhm.
upon you.
Yes. And your friends.
And we're not
scolded you.
crazy conspiracy theorists.
Right. Right. And the people that scolded you would call you up. Oh my gosh, you just took your mail. I had a neighbor that was like, you just took your mail out of the mailbox and you didn't use gloves and wipe it down. And and I'm a shit. So she's looking out her window at that. I licked the mail. I just went,
Good
it tastes so good. And she's like, oh my gosh. So that just meant she wouldn't come out of her house for another 48 hours.
Right. I
So
feel
that was
sorry
great.
for some people like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she was freaking
Not
out.
that they didn't have. Some people really did had. They were justified in not wanting to leave the house because they have issues or whatever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like if you had cancer or something else that your immune system
like,
was
are you guys
really
serious?
compromised.
I love it.
But I mean, come on.
We keep getting a lot of shout outs for Gold Bar Dial soap.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about that. I don't buy it because I buy Melaleuca, but you know what? A lot of people said just Gold
Stick
Dial.
with vinegar.
Paul
Yeah.
says you're just better licking a toilet seat than doing some of these other things.
That's right.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, they do say that if you're exposed, your immune system grows to
if you're exposed to what?
to different germs and stuff.
Yeah,
so people
absolutely.
who are
That's
in
science.
a very germy environment have really strong immune systems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, there you go. And like Connie's saying antibacterial, and that's interesting. All the years that I ran the preschool, if we didn't have antibacterial soap, we would get written up. So you couldn't, remember the days when you didn't have antibacterial soap, you could just get regular soap. And I remember the health department coming in and freaking out. Oh my gosh, I don't remember the brand now. And she was like, so I just went, and that's when I got Melaleuca, and I'm like, you can't argue with me about that, and tried to write me up for that because it wasn't antibacterial. I'm like, give me a break with that stuff. I mean, that was a real big thing in the early 2000s between which kind of soap you used.
Yeah, because it was the same with restaurants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. Totally makes sense. By the way, this is canceltheshow.com. I'm Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house. We went off on this path, but it's good because of some bird flu. And of course, there's certain reporters who try to say, is this bird flu? Oh my God, could we be getting this again?
Mhm.
We need something. And by the way, if you work in local news and national news, what do you do every day? You come in and you look for what? Content. You look for news.
Mhm.
You need controversy.
That's right. And they
You're
want the
looking, oh my
controversy.
God, what can we create? What, oh my God, we need numbers. We need the hospital totals. We need the COVID numbers. We need the COVID cases. So of course they'll create. And there are consultants who tell you to, they do this with the weather guys all the time too.
Yeah.
They don't tell you to quote, they don't actually come out and tell you to scare, but they're like, hey, extra safety.
Mhm.
That tornado could be 200 miles away, but it could be coming your way. And those are the types of things that get thrown out. And then add in corruption, government conspiracies, COVID. And then before you know it, all of that gets rolled into one ball and
That's
it's
right.
thrown at you.
Mhm.
And it blows up all around you. And then you're left to deal with what they've given you.
That's right. When you think about the world we're living in today, that you can't believe a thing anyone on TV tells you, or even half of America, when they tell you something, you have to see if they're right or not because they make stuff up.
What did Megan mean by this? Wash your groceries with a hazmat suit on, and they tell the neighbors they are crazy leaving the house.
Well, okay, that's what she say. She's probably talking
get
about
it.
my Karen neighbor that they're over there with
Oh.
a hazmat suit on doing all that. And then when me, the mail licker, walks out the door and they're like,
Wait.
oh my gosh.
You're a mail licker?
Well, only that one time. It's just one time. It's just I got this neighbor that just never lets up
You
with
lick
her.
mails?
You licked your neighbor's mail.
No, I just licked my neighbor because she called me and yelled out the window.
Joe's a female licker.
Are you?
You're a male licker. He's a female licker.
There you go. There you go.
Bum,
I didn't really
Need a
think
ring.
about how that sounded. Sure, come over to Lizzie's house and I'm going to lick your mail. That could have two connotations, I guess.
Mailness.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Mhm.
From the chat line, KMOV in St. Louis, Missouri had 2 days of first alerts for the area. I saw absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely, as I get it back, absolutely, as I get it back, absolutely. I saw absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Uh-huh.
I saw absolutely nothing as I try to get
And
it
those
back.
2 days,
There
then
you go.
yesterday morning, there was a brief non-severe thunderstorm.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Although he's my favorite meteorologist, the guy at KMOV.
What's his name? I can't even remember.
Templeton?
Yes, Steve Templeton. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not bad.
Megan got me into liking him.
Steve Templeton. Yeah, he's
when
not
when
bad.
I'd watch severe, I don't watch local news anymore, but I saw the weather when there was some severe weather coming in. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, I can see it. I like him. Anyway, Trigger the mail licker from Megan.
Mm-hmm.
Lizzie is the gift that keeps on giving. Sound bites are her thing,
Mhm.
even though she doesn't realize
Yeah, I
she
didn't
is
know
giving
that.
us gold.
I'm
Comedy
just-
gold.
I'm just telling you the truth as I see it.
I'm a mail licker. Cut off that penis. You got a vagina.
Well, when you move in next door to me and that's how you act, I'm just going to call you back out.
And somebody else, a shout out. We are a national show based out of the St. Louis area. Steve Templeton. He's good.
Yeah.
He gets a shot. Now,
I hear he's a really nice person.
no, he's the best in St.
Yeah.
Louis. There's no, I mean, he is. There's nobody. He's the best by far.
Well,
By far, he's the best.
Well, you know what? There's another meteorologist person. What's his name? Scott O'Donnell or somebody like that.
I
I
don't
think he's
even
on
know.
Channel 5. His wife went to high school with me and she defriended me because I like Trump. So I'm just, so I don't watch him anymore.
You lose. Hey, Kevin says, should freedom of speech include lies?
Sure.
Well, yeah, obviously. I mean,
Yeah,
freedom
but-
of
Yeah.
speech.
But does that mean, do you mean from a political candidate? Do you mean everyday talk?
Well, they do it anyway.
We all get
mean-
loud. We all get lied to.
Yeah.
I mean, every one of us get lied to. I mean, I hate to break this to you, but your spouses will lie to you. Your boyfriends and girlfriends will lie to you. Your friends will lie to you. It's human nature.
I think the older you get, though, when you realize lying gets you nowhere,
I hope.
you won't do it anymore. And if
I
you're
don't do
still
it.
lying,
I don't do it at my age,
I mean, and if you're still
but I know
lying,
people who do.
well, you know why? Little kids, they're the worst at lying. And I would tell their parents that the reason why they lie is different than an adult lies. A little kid lies because they just don't want to get in trouble. An adult lies because they want to get something.
Jeannie says, no, it shouldn't be allowed because what that is it's misinformation. But misinformation is also free speech.
Right. And when it comes out, you get punished for that. I mean, if you purposefully lie to somebody to harm them or to scam them or mislead them, that's one thing, and that's definitely a punishable offense. But you still should have the right to say those things.
I agree. And it's up to us to go do research.
Yeah.
You know, and this goes from a political standpoint, which got us into the conversation, or personal. Go do research. There's no problem with finding out if what you're being told is true or not.
Right.
There's absolutely, and if somebody has a problem with you trying to find out, the problem's with them. It's not with you.
Correct. Because you have to really watch, because so many people lie, and they do it more so, I think, on the mainstream media. And you have to look at some of your politicians or politician wannabes. They lie about an opponent or about a situation to make themselves feel better, because they don't have anything to run on themselves.
That's a great point.
Which says more about them than
correct.
anything.
So if I see somebody in business world too, if I see a restaurant or somebody just bashing another restaurant instead of focusing on how great they are, I don't want to go to that restaurant, or I don't want to put my kids in that
always,
sort of a gymnastics.
Always be
thing.
Positive.
Yes.
I
Be
mean,
positive. Just tell the truth.
For a variety of reasons.
Just talk about how great you are, but not how bad somebody else is. That's
and try not to lie.
Yeah, try not to lie.
Just try not to. It's bad. Just be honest.
Well, the truth always comes out. So if you lie to somebody,
it will eventually.
It may take a while, but the truth always comes out. Always.
Paul says, hell, I lie to myself every day. I keep telling myself that I'm 5'10" after my 2 hip replacement surgeries. I'm actually 5'8".
Okay, I understand that lie a little bit.
Jeannie says, I work at the amphitheater. It's important to have correct information.
Yes, yes. Well, several people are talking on our chat line that they work at places that when, say, a meteorologist comes out and says it's going to be storming and it's going to be terrible, then their business is hurt because people stay home. So when they do that, there's actually, when you exaggerate about the weather and then it doesn't happen, you hurt people's businesses. So don't do that.
And that still shouldn't be illegal for a meteorologist to lie about the weather. I mean, I think that's ridiculous if a meteorologist goes to jail. I mean,
no, who said no? That's never going to happen.
Right.
I'm not saying they should go to jail.
That?
Well, we're talking about free speech. So if that wasn't allowed,
I assumed it was free speech with politics.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm talking free speech.
Yeah, but they're just doing their job. I mean, weather people can suck too.
Right.
Like we can suck at our jobs or have bad days.
Yep. That's right. As Peg is saying, as a judge, I guess she's talking about Judge Judy. If you tell the truth, you never have to worry about having a good memory, because the truth is always in your brain. But if you lie, you
tell the truth, you never have to worry about having a good memory.
That's perfect.
I do. I like that.
I do too. I like that a lot.
It certainly makes sense. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So here it is. Cancel this. Off on you guys in the chat line. We appreciate you liking, subscribing, sharing the show when you guys do that. It's all fantastic. Interesting also, because I want to wait till we get 9 o'clock to get into the Trump stuff, but man, okay, I'll go ahead with this. Okay. 50 Cent has, and he's been a Trump supporter. He's talked about it publicly. I actually have had one black man Democrat, ultra liberal. Oh, well, he doesn't count. He's successful.
What? Wait a minute. Okay, so break that down.
Only black men that like Donald Trump are those that have money, because they don't have to worry about getting screwed over by the man.
So he's basically saying Democrats are losers then.
Well, I'm not going to, that whatever.
Well, that's kind of what he's inferring to. I didn't say it. He said it.
So here's 50 Cent talking about African Americans. He thinks that black men are identifying with him. And maybe there's another story here, but identifying with Trump because of RICO charges and feeling as if they got screwed over in the system. So is there another story about this as well?
Have you made a decision?
I haven't.
Okay. What do you think is the significance?
Thank you.
What do you see as the significance of African American men in this election?
I see them identifying with Trump.
Why do you say that?
Because they got RICO charges.
And I think that was great, because a lot of black people feel or have been incarcerated or have charges based upon lack of truth. And that is a proven thing. Now, I'm not statistically, I'm not saying that all black people that commit crimes are innocent or guilty, but they at least feel that way, and they can identify with Trump because a lot of them feel like that they're felons or have charges against them that weren't fair, or they know someone. So now they're identifying with Trump because he's a felon that was treated unfairly. I've seen that over and over again on social media.
And don't think 50 Cent is a Trump supporter.
Yeah, he is.
He is
Yes.
a Trump supporter. He has made it public in the past as well. So don't forget about that. He is all about Donald Trump. Business people are all about Donald Trump.
That's correct.
People who understand money and the economy are all about Donald Trump.
Correct.
People who like to work and have serious jobs and want to see other people work and not get handouts are about Donald Trump.
That's right.
Megan says, Fiddy got himself a new suit. He was looking sharp.
He did look really sharp. He did look sharp. And that is true. If you want to work for your living and not be beholden to anyone, you then want to be a Trump supporter. If you're somebody that loves a handout or wants somebody else to have a handout or likes public anything, like public education, and I'm not talking about elementary school, but I'm talking about college, public transportation, free college, free this, free that, you're a liberal. You like Biden.
It happens that way. That's for sure. By the way, want to give a shout out to show sponsor, major, massive sponsor for us, Complete Auto Body Repair. Thank you to the team over there. If you're going to get your car fixed, please check them out. I don't care where you go, but you got to check them out. You're not going to find a better place. Look them up online, completeab.com, completeab.com, or call them at 314-731-7999. But when you call them, tell them you're calling from Cancel This or mention Cancel This, because what that does is it helps us, because they realize that you, our viewers and our listeners, are going there, and they continue to support us and keep us on the air. That's what this is expensive. So we are grateful for them supporting us. They have tons of jobs available as well, and they're always looking for good people. This is check them out. Go to the website, completeab.com. You can reach them through our partners page right here. You can go to completeab.com or go to our website, cancelthisshow.com, and click on the page. It takes you right to them. You can find out about all the jobs over there. They have a ton of opportunities. Just a great place to work, that's for sure. Also, the St. Louis Injury Council, David Gregory and his attorney team. You're not going to find anybody better when it comes to personal injury. He really excels when it comes to the issues of car accidents of any kind. How do I know? Because I used him twice, and he did far better than anybody else was going to be able to do. And he was quick. And guess what? If you use him, he'll knock off a lot of the fees. So more money back to you, more compensation back to you for what you've gone through. Also, workers' comp issues. And what's very interesting is he promotes himself as the super conservative attorney. And we've talked about this before. 7 for 7 in cases of getting people their jobs offered back to them because they refused to take that shot in their arm. That's what he's about. He's not afraid to go public with his conservative values. And if you know of anybody, make sure they know about David Gregory, but you need to bring up Cancel This. Once again, tell him about Cancel This so that you get your fees knocked off, and he knows that business is coming from Cancel This. We appreciate that as well. And of course, one of our favorites, Paige Measley from We Quip USA. Congrats on her new baby coming. I had a chance to check out her website. We got to get something. Can you remind me? We got something hooked up with your email. She told me about
I already
this.
did it.
Okay.
Yep, I already did it.
Check it out. Peg says Dave is great. Yeah, Dave is great. You're not going to find anybody better. I used him twice. Literally, he called me up 6 months later and said, Lizzie, we can get you some more money. He's like, because of a law that I actually wrote. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
That's so awesome.
He's like, I'm an accountant. I wrote some of these laws in the state of Missouri. I'm like, damn, you are the best. So anyway, we appreciate you guys checking that out, using him from that standpoint as well. We Quip USA, you rent items, and then you can put items on the site to rent to other people. WeQuipUSA.com, WeQuipUSA.com. They rent spaces. Hell, they'll rent anything. I may be rented out one day. We'll see where that goes, but I would do it in a heartbeat. And Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, their location in the Chesterfield Valley, and the Roadhouse out in Defiance. They are getting crowded and packed on a daily basis. It's just a great place to go and enjoy and have fun. If you drink, great. If you're looking for some good food, great. Relaxing environment. It's your neighborhood bar, your neighborhood restaurant. The service is good. And on top of it all, the food is damn good because Marla knows what she's doing. They love their food.
Sure does.
They love their food. By the way, you can catch us at Facebook. You can catch us on X, on Rumble, on YouTube, and CloudHub. And of course, all the usual sites when it comes to your listening pleasure of Apple, Spotify, and Google. Please like, subscribe, share the show. You can send us stars. If you know of other advertisers, please contact us. Let us know. Vic at canceltheshow.com, Lizzie at canceltheshow.com. If you want to give us donations, we have a donation button. All of this helps us to stay on the air, to continue to do what we're doing when it comes to free speech and promoting Donald Trump and all of the vicious lies and accusations and trials that don't belong. We're bringing you the truth, and we want to continue to do that on a daily basis. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Somebody said, Vic, what you pimping? I'm pimping it all.
Yeah, he's a pimp. He is the man.
What am I pimping? Oh, what am I pimping if I go on there?
Yeah.
I don't know. Tell me. If somebody's going to buy something, let me know.
Yeah,
it's got, but
you need to pimp yourself.
But when it comes to that, the juice has to be worth the squeeze. All right.
The juice has to be worth the squeeze. Okay?
Why do you always laugh when I say that?
Because it cracks.
I've said that 3 times and you laugh all 3 times.
I do, because I could just, I don't know what you're squeezing. And I'm going to leave it there.
The juice has to be worth the squeeze.
Yeah. What kind of juice you squeezing?
Meaning, if I go squeeze an opportunity.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Then the juice better be coming out.
Yep, the juice
for what
coming out.
Yeah, I better be picking up what I'm putting down. Let's just put it that way.
Well, and you better be picking up what you're putting down, because when you squeeze it, baby, and the juice comes
Joe
out.
Smiling, by the way?
Yeah, I think he's embarrassed of us right now. I think he's.
No, you always have to make things weird.
All this juice and squeeze talk.
I don't make it weird. I just make an observation.
That's a cancel this shirt.
Yeah.
The juice needs to be worth the squeeze.
That's right. Cancel this.
Or cancel this. The juice is worth the squeeze.
That's right. I like that too.
I love it.
And Vic is the master pimping out guy.
Well, hey, come up with ideas.
That's right.
I don't know. But if it's really weird, we got to be talking $4 or $5 figure money, okay?
Oh, at least. Probably more than that.
Vic's got the juice.
If you got the squeeze. I got the juice if you got the squeeze.
There's somebody out there that would definitely want to squeeze your juice, Vic.
Okay, here we go. New show at Renew Media, Pimpin' and Juicing with Vic.
That's right. I like it. I like it.
Squeezing.
I got the juice if you got the squeeze.
That is the next show for Renew Media.
Promise we didn't drink. We're not overly tired. We didn't do any gummies today.
No, we don't.
Lemon juice, people. Lemon juice.
That's right. We just talk.
Orange juice.
Orange juice. That's right.
Yeah.
Orange
Grapefruit juice.
That's right. I like grapefruit juice.
Yeah.
I like lemon juice.
Hey, what does the skull mean, by the way, as an icon, as a emoji? If somebody,
it means you're dead. She's dying laughing.
Oh, dying
So
laughing.
Mandy is saying she's dying laughing.
Okay. Thank you for the updates, everybody.
That's right.
I appreciate the education when it comes to the emojis.
Well, they just the thought of your juice being squeezed is really delightful to the people on the chat line. Whack off your penis.
I don't want anybody to whack off my penis. Well, maybe a few people. So much for being loving, touching, juicing each other.
There you go.
Or loving, touching, squeezing.
That's right.
All right, there we go. We're having some fun now. We don't need any alcohol or gummies.
Sylvia says you all are so funny that she just loves the show. I think that must be a new listener. I've not seen Sylvia.
Holy shit. Cancel this, canceltheshow.com. Okay, people, back serious. We were having some fun there, but you may see where that goes. Trump doing Hannity last night was definitely
good
worth
stuff.
The squeeze. Donald Trump, wherever he is. Now, when you check him out, Lizzie, you saw him and you and Joe thought he looked tired.
I did.
Is it all right to look tired when you're a political figure? When you're Donald Trump?
Of course. And why would you not be tired? It's the first time when I saw it, and Joe and I were talking about it this morning, that it's the first time I thought he looked very fatigued. You know, I mean, his eye lines on his eyes.
We all have days, right?
Yes, we all do.
When you've gone through everything that man's gone through, you're going to have your days.
Absolutely. I know there's some days I come in here and I'm like, God, I look terrible. I'm so tired. But I think it was phenomenal that that's the first time I actually thought he looked fatigued. I thought he still did a great job. I thought everything he said was great. But I thought, you know what? If you're a praying person, we all need to pray for him. I don't think he's going to keel over. I don't think it's anything that devastating. But I thought he looked tired. And I thought, you know, as a God-fearing person, I need to pray for him to have energy, just to have some energy.
From the chat
tough.
line, I can't stand Hannity. He's freaking rude. I do not like Sean Hannity.
He's not my fave
his
either.
interviewing style.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
And here's why. It doesn't mean I don't like him as a person. I don't know him.
Yeah,
It
I don't
doesn't
know
mean I
him.
don't appreciate the work that his staff does or what he does. It's that shut up.
Yeah.
Let people answer.
Mhm.
He interrupts way too much. It's not about you, Sean Elliott Davis. It's about the people.
Right.
We don't need to see your ass. We don't need to hear your ass. We want to see and hear the important people. It's mistake number one made by journalists, anchors, report. Look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm important.
Yeah.
You don't need to like assert yours. People who try to assert themselves have insecurity issues.
I think that's why his girlfriend Ainsley broke up with him, because
She did?
that's what I heard.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And that, well, think about it. She still lives in New York too.
Yeah.
I mean, and he moved to Florida and he moved away from her. And from reports I'm seeing, but you know what? I don't know if it's true, but that their distance between them and all wasn't going to work anymore. But you can't get a word in edgewise with Sean Hannity. You can't. He interviews people and then he interrupts you. I've done that to a guest here before. And after the fact, I'm like, Lizzie, shut up.
But here's the thing, though. If you interrupt somebody, apologize. Like, if I've
Yes.
interrupted you, I apologize. I called you after the show. I was like, oh, sorry, I don't mean to do. But damn, just shut up. This is Donald Trump. Let him speak. And you haven't been his best friend over the years anyway. That's come out.
Yeah, for sure.
No, they are together. She announced it last week, Lizzie.
Oh, well, then thank you. This is maybe a week and a half ago.
Jeannie says he's an asshole.
Okay,
Somebody
good.
else says he's a prick. I like his sidekick on the radio, Linda. She's a
She's a
nyaka.
gal. I love her.
I haven't heard her.
She is the producer for his show. And I would rather listen to him on the radio than on the TV, because his producer talks a decent amount and she's really good. She's actually better than him, I think, because I don't know that he knows as much stuff. I think she knows a lot more of the information. She's good. I like her.
Really?
Yeah. She's
Okay.
good.
Hannity reminds me of Jim Edmonds on the Cardinals broadcast. They both like the sound of their own voices and they go on very long monologues.
Yes.
Okay. Then Peg says, I can't stand Hannity. Anyway, we've got 3 sound bites we want to show you. Go check out the interview if you want to. It was a really good interview. I didn't feel as if Donald Trump said anything different last night, but he keeps reiterating and hitting home points, even if mainstream media doesn't cover it. And I like it. So, Joe, it doesn't matter the order that we play them. We'll just give you a little feel of Donald Trump doing Hannity last night. And Donald Trump has been doing interviews all over the place. Hell, he's done so many interviews. Maybe we could get one.
Right.
Here's Donald on the show last night.
To bring the country together. And success does bring the country together, because we had the most successful economy in the history of our country just prior to COVID. And even at the end, I got it back. It was an amazing thing. But we had the most successful economy in history. And I was getting calls from radical left people wanting to meet. And I'm telling you, success, African American, Asian American, Hispanic American, women, men, people with diplomas, people without diplomas, people that went to MIT, Harvard, and Wharton, people that didn't get out of high school. The most successful economy we've ever had. And people on that I would say, you call them on the radical left, call it whatever you want, liberal people, progressive people, they were all calling, and they were saying, let's get together, this is amazing. Every single group, nobody has ever done better than during that period of time in my administration, during that period. And they wanted to get together, and it would have happened. We would have happened. It was really something. I'm not sure I would have been able to say to you that there was a way to unify. Success will unify, and I think we're going to have a tremendous success. We have to bring it back fast, because this country we're a failing nation. We are really a failing nation right now. We're being laughed at all over the world.
Donald Trump was outstanding. What a terrific soundbite. Okay, that's not something that makes you go, oh, I'm excited, but it's factual. He's saying what he did and what he could do again. And the economy, I know Democrats, oh, abortion, social issues. Be real. It's about the economy. Be real. It's about the money that you have in your account. That's why I like that soundbite. Mandy says maybe he looked tired, but looks like he's lost some weight.
And that could be it too. Yeah, he's running around, sitting in that cold ice box, as he calls it. And I would imagine that shivering would make him lose some weight. I didn't think the content of what he said was any different. I thought it was great. I still think he sounded strong. I just thought he did a good job. I just thought he looked tired. That was it. And I agree with you, Vic. I don't think that he said anything different than what he has been saying, but I like that he's trying to go everywhere to get the word out. I had, someone tell me yesterday that they were really mad at Trump. And I was like, why? And they were like, well, because he's not saying things right now like fake news and the mainstream media is evil and all of that. And I'm like, you know what, at this point, he's going to go on just about everything. He's even going to have his VP picks, I think, went on CNN and MSNBC, because we already all know that. I think Trump has already made his point that the news is fake and mainstream media is like that. But whether we like it or not, there is still people that watch Fox News because they don't understand or have the time to deep dive information. So they just flip on their cable TV. So Trump has to be on these sites. He has to still be there. So I don't think it means that Trump is losing it or that he's friends or doesn't think the news is fake. He's got bigger fish to fry now. He's already told us for 8 years that the news is a problem, but he's still got to get the word out.
He is a focused man.
He is very focused.
He's a man on a mission. And when you get put into an adversity situation like this, when you're forced into the corner between a rock and a hard place, it'll draw your attention in. He knows what's going on.
He does.
He knows what's happening to him. He sees it. And you have to be laser focused, especially with as much, not only that this country needs to try to repair, and don't think for a second that this country will all of a sudden get better with as much has been done in the time that he has.
That's right.
And then we haven't even gotten into the fact that if he does win, what he would be facing when it comes to a House and a Senate.
Correct.
Case in point, all he does, and keep in mind, this up here for our listeners on the podcast, I'm holding my hand up high. This is Donald Trump's, I guess you would say, level of expectation.
Mm-hmm.
My hand is way down low, like in a basement or underground or in hell.
In hell.
This is where Joe Biden is.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. The expectation levels are different. Trump has to meet this level all the time. And if he doesn't, and even if he does, mainstream media attacks him. If Joe Biden just barely meets this low level down here or gets right above it, oh my God, Joe Biden is so great. He's got a new lease on life, Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. So just remember how that's all happening. So Donald Trump deals with this on a daily basis.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he looked a little tired to me, but it's fine.
But and you're just proving the point of what I just did too, because our expectations are way up here about Trump. I had to make the comment, he looked tired last night, but the content of what he said is still as good as it's ever been, even on a day that he's tired. So could you imagine if that sort of a speech on Trump's most tired day was something that Joe Biden did? The whole world would be, well, I shouldn't say that. The liberals would all be celebrating so much, like, oh my gosh, can you believe that? Because the man, if he just doesn't stumble up the plane, they think he's a hero.
Doreen says if that's all the libs got to run on is abortion, they should be all in for Trump.
Exactly.
He brought it back to the states instead of the government.
Exactly.
Telling you what you can and can't do, of course. And we have talked about that several times on this show, which is why we encourage you to try to watch us as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Donna says a lot of older folks will not even look at social media. They just flip on the TV because that's what they've been trained to do for many years.
Correct. That's why
and you're not going to get the true messages. You can't. And I don't care if you're 50, 60, 70. You need to get on platforms like this because it's the only place you're going to get the real news.
That's right.
This is the real new news. And people need to realize it. You're not going to, it's not on TV. And I had several conversations with Eric about, well, if it's not on mainstream media, then it really doesn't count. No, bullshit. Yeah. This is the real deal now.
That's right. Eric was wrong about that because he was
and not going at Eric. No, but Eric's still like that.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, but you know how Americans are. And he makes a good point.
He does,
which is why we're trying to re-educate.
That's right.
Trying to help again, trying to get people into a side where, you know what? Guess what? We can change these things.
That's right. Well, that's what people will say too. If you're not on the radio or you're not on TV, you're not real news. But
nobody listens to radio anymore.
They hardly listen to it.
Many of the stations don't even buy the services for ratings.
They don't because they don't have enough people. They're just, we know that firsthand, that they just want to get the advertisers, but they don't even have ratings on purpose because they know the ratings are low. So you have to seek out your news these days. You have to. It's the way of the world right now.
Okay. So we know that's going on. Donald Trump, here's another part of Donald Trump with Sean Hannity. And by the way, I haven't heard anybody say they like Sean Hannity. Yeah. Here's Donald Trump with a second bite from last night.
Retribution. People are claiming you want what has happened to you done to Democrats. Would you do that ever?
Look, what's happened to me has never happened in this country before. And it has to stop because...
Wait a minute. I want to hear that again. It has to stop.
Well, it does have to stop because we're not going to have a country.
And if you're
anymore.
elected...
Shut up, Hannity. Let him talk.
Look, what I've gone through, nobody's ever gone through. I'm a very legitimate person. I built a great business. Everything's been... I have been under siege. Nobody's ever seen anything like this in this country. Now, in other countries, in other third world countries, or banana republics, as they say, a banana republic, we've become a banana republic. At the border, we've become a banana republic. With so many other elements of our country, we've become a banana republic. You take a look at what's happening with inflation. That's a banana republic inflation, what we have. I think it could be as high as 50% if you add everything in. When you start adding energy prices in, when you start adding interest rates, which have gone from 2% to 9 and 10%.
Okay. What a great explanation from Donald Trump. At least 3 times. I don't want it to, Sean Hannity interrupts him. I'm like,
right.
Oh, stop it.
But he's right. He almost sounded in that clip, like the clip we played yesterday of Dr. Phil, that you have to stop being divided and you've got to move forward now. And I'm glad Sean Hannity started to be quiet, but you know, this is what we're dealing with. Joe just kind of pointed out something that you're dealing with liberals. So there was a comment on that little section and somebody named Paparazzi Prodigy, probably a liberal, has to be when you see this comment, and Joe's putting it back up. They're saying a Banana Republic is a clothing brand. What in tarnation does Banana Republic have to do with inflation? I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the kind of
what we're dealing with.
This is what we're dealing with.
They're not that stupid.
No,
oh, I think some people are.
They're not that stupid.
I think the only time
they're being crass. You're not that dumb.
I don't know.
You're not that dumb.
That could be. Well, listen to what.
There's no way.
And then the person goes on to say, plus fix your bleach blonde wig. It's such a mess. And you looked like I can't even read it. Like you're feeling very stressed out. Brunette, do something with your brunette hair since the hair on the side of your head is brunette. Oh boy, only girls and gay guys bleach their hair. That's what that comment.
I used to bleach my hair and I'm not gay.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's what we're dealing with today. Either these people really are that dumb, or what you're saying, Vic, that they're just trying to prove some sort of a point. And I don't get it. Like, you don't know what a Banana Republic is? That's why Banana Republic has that name.
If that person doesn't know what a Banana Republic is, then they shouldn't even be on a site.
Right. But they are saying it's a clothing brand.
Certainly they.
I think you're giving them too much benefit.
I think you are too. This person, yeah.
I think that.
Why would you make a comment like
all I know is that
you just make yourself look dumb?
No, that's all right. We're living rent free in their brain.
For sure.
It's all good.
For sure.
Taunting, so they think.
Right.
Somebody else says, nope, they're dumb.
Yeah. Somebody else says, nope, they're dumb. Jill says they're dumb. Jeannie says, nope, they're brainwashed. Mitch says it's probably somebody that's 21 years old on there.
I don't know. It might be. It might be. Gosh, and most of the votes are they're dumb.
Yeah.
I
agree that they're dumb. I really do agree that person did not know. Think about it. If you don't know history, think about if it is, like Mitch is saying, it's a 21-year-old that just went to school and learned DEI. They never learned what a real Banana Republic is. They just think it's clothing.
Yeah. DEI didn't earn it. That's what it means. Vic, you're giving people way too much credit.
That's right.
People still think we actually live in a democracy, which we know that we don't.
We don't. I hate that.
The person is uneducated. Vic, they're keyboard warriors. That's the term I used to use for these people. Some people are willfully ignorant. Well, we know that for sure. And Susan's like, Banana Republic clothing is like so yesterday.
A good point, Susan. It, first of all, is so yesterday.
We have another, I believe we have another new bite with Donald Trump. We'll try to get this one up and running from a soundbite with Hannity last night from a really good interview. Troy does say that Hannity used to be good, but he's so repetitive now. I get tired of hearing him speak as of late. Unfortunately, I agree. I do. All right. More from Donald Trump's interview.
You were asked about the possibility that Judge Merchan might send you to jail. You said something that really kind of got my attention. What did you say? That it didn't faze you in the sense that if that's what it takes, you don't have to be doing this. You could be playing golf every day and you probably wouldn't be charged with anything.
Well, I think I say it about almost all of these cases that are brought against me. They are doing it for the purposes of hurting a political opponent of Biden and trying to get him to win, and he's the worst president in the history of our country. But in the case that you're talking about, I said very strongly that I'm very proud to fight for our Constitution, and if that's what it takes. Everybody said, this is such a minor thing. You don't go to jail for this, but you don't understand what we're dealing against, Sean. We're dealing against a system that is so corrupt. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. I did nothing wrong in any of these things. I did nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong at all. And whether you look at the analysts, whether it's Greg Jarrett or Andy McCarthy or Jonathan Turley or your friend, the great one, Mark Levin, Dershowitz, all of them, they said there's no case here. Judge Janine was so incredible 2 weeks ago. She was unbelievable. Angry. She was angry. And you know why they're angry? Because they love our country and they see what's happening. It's totally unconstitutional what they've done. And if you look at the statements made by the people I just mentioned, and I'm not friends with any, I mean, I think they respect what I've done. They might respect me. They might not respect me. But they said there's no case. It shouldn't have been brought. And the way the judge charged the jury, told the jury, gave jury instructions, nobody's ever heard anything like that.
He's not kidding.
Yeah.
When it comes to the entire situation that happened with Donald Trump speaking. Once again, we all know this. We know what the truth is. We know what the mission is, and the mission has always been, and it's to destroy him and stop him from running. But once again, he is doing everything he possibly can at a top level, A++ level, over 100%, extra credit, weighted grade point average, whatever you want to say. It's why right now he's arguably the most popular man in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you like it or not, he is the most popular man in the world.
That's right. For sure. And more people are liking him every day. And if they don't like him, kind of what he was insinuating there is, you don't have to like President Trump. You don't have to go hang out with him. You don't need to go to Wendy's and have a drink with him. But what you do get from Donald Trump is less taxes. You get the truth, even if you don't want to hear it. We have less regulations. Our grocery prices, I don't know if he can get them back down, but he won't raise them, and he's going to close the damn border. And our gas prices will go down for sure.
From the chat line, can somebody tell me why this Jelly Roll guy is so popular? Is he some new-founded Trump supporter or what?
Yeah. So yeah,
Jelly Roll, the musician.
Yeah, a lot of people just like him, and this is why they like him. I don't think it has anything to do with Trump. I kind of like his music, but people like him because he was somebody that was very downtrodden, had been on drugs. It just has been as low can go, and his songs are about that. Are about hope and redemption. They're not really Christian songs, but if you want to take them there, you can. But the biggest thing is I think it's about you could literally have lost everything and been as low as you low, and you can be okay. I think it's just like a rags to riches story.
Yeah, no, he's a true success story.
He really is.
I'm fine with people being self-deprecating, but just don't go. He's very self-deprecating.
He is, but people love that.
It's easy to be self-deprecating.
It is.
Sometimes I think it's an excuse.
Yeah.
And it's all right every now and then, but self-deprecating over and over and over and over again is the most. But maybe that's why too.
Right. And maybe people won't like him if he keeps doing that, but at least his name is out there now and his music is pretty decent. I mean, I like it. And if he keeps being deprecating, then he will lose his luster and he'll go away. But if he just plays his music now that people know it, he's good. He's very good.
This is cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic. She's Lizzie. We've got Projo in the house as well, taking care of the boards and sound and giving us his opinion on those standpoints as well. Guys, when you guys have stories, ideas, information, we are grateful for you jumping into the chat line. The chat line is off the charts every day.
We love it.
You can do it. Most of the people chat on Facebook, but we're on X, we're on Rumble, we're on YouTube, and of course, Cloud Hub Live as well. So thank you so much for jumping in and doing the things that you do with us. Donald Trump last night, as I said, A+. I don't think he could do any more. He could not do any more. The ratings continue to fly high, and we're grateful for that. We're grateful for you guys jumping in and showing us your support and or not support. The VP list, I'm not all that excited about it, and apparently I'm the only one. So I could care less about the VP pick right now, but you guys all do.
I do care about it.
So that's why we show you the short list. There's a short list now again. And when we talk about the short list, that means those who have actually been given the paperwork to vet. There's 7 people. And here's your list. And why North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum is on there, I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't get that one either.
What is he bringing to the table?
I don't know. He's boring and he's really bland, but he is loyal. And sometimes there's something to the fact that somebody's loyal. I that's the only thing that I see that he brings to the table. And he is very conservative. But other than that, I'm with you on that one.
Florida's Marco Rubio.
That one I don't like.
He's been quiet for a long
time.
time.
And maybe this is why. Maybe this is why. I don't know. I just think he's too establishment for me. But maybe there's something Trump sees that I don't.
J.D. Vance, the senator out of Ohio in the Rust Belt.
Yeah, I get that one.
I get the Rust Belt.
Yeah, I get that.
And Ohio's a big state.
Yeah, I get that one a lot.
South Carolina's Tim Scott.
I get that too.
I like it. Obviously, a black man as well. And I hate to say that I have to bring up color because he's accomplished without the color. But when it comes to voting and you have to have a black man or you have to have a lady, you can't have 2 white men.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something that gets added to the table. In addition to Tim Scott and Bert, you've got my favorite. And I know this is an outlier, but Florida Representative Byron Donalds.
Yeah, I like him too. But people on our chat line do too.
That's my guy.
Yeah, that's a good one. I could see that one. That's probably my favorite on the list too, I think.
Not only is he incredible at what he does, he's a strong man. He's young, still learning. But he would be fantastic. But he takes no bullshit.
Yeah.
And he looks at the meeting. He calls them out. Like he's like, come on. And media are like running. They're afraid of him.
Yeah, I love it. I love that.
Elise Stefanik, New York representative. She's only 39.
Yeah.
And she had his back
Yeah,
after
she sure
January 6th.
Yeah. Big time. So I get that one too.
And at one point in time was maybe not such a huge Trump fan, but then he won her over.
Yes. She was kind of a never Trumper in 2016. But I understand that you can not like somebody and then meet them and then deal with them and move on. I get that.
That's 6. And number 7, it's not Vivek.
Yeah.
It's Ben Carson.
Yeah.
And I don't see or hear Ron DeSantis.
Yeah, I don't see.
But the rumors are out there still about Ron DeSantis being on a list.
He's on a list, but he's still on the list of in the top 10, but he's not on the list where they're really vetting them, like really, doing the background check.
Paperwork was only sent to those 7.
That's right. That's right.
That's according to the Trump campaign source.
That is. And that 7 is who right now is the top of the list and being vetted and looking at their backgrounds and finding everything about them so there's no shocker later. And so far, most of them are good. Vivek, I don't know why he's not on that list, but a lot of people.
Maybe he doesn't want to be on the list.
He wants to be on the list.
You think?
Oh, yes, he does. He wants to be on the list.
Well, how could you not have Vivek after everything that he has done on a list if he wanted to do it? To me, that would be a total slap in the face to Vivek because he has been nothing but a fantastic supporter of Trump. I'm wondering if he really wants that job.
Maybe he just wants to work on in his administration, but not be the VP.
Somebody who you did not see on the list, of course, was the former front runner, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem. But this whole situation with Ron DeSantis, there's no way I could see Ron going and being a second fiddle to Donald Trump.
And maybe it's
freaking way.
him.
He's helping right now.
Yes. Yes.
He helped raise $3 million last month.
Mm-hmm. Well, and maybe like a lot of people on the chat line, a couple people on all the different platforms are saying Trump likes surprises. So maybe they're going to vet them after that. And we're looking at the 7, and he's going to have another list in a day or two that's kept quiet.
What about other positions in the cabinet?
That could be it too.
Yeah. I mean, I can.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What really gets me about Vivek is, why would you not want to be the VP? Because especially if you have aspirations to be president, because after Trump's next 4 years, whoever's VP is most likely going to be the president.
And that's why I think this time more.
Not necessarily. It may give you a forefront, but in my humble opinion, and this is why I disagree a little bit.
You got a 4-year campaign if you want to be president, if
Correct.
you're going to do VP. Trump.
And here's why I disagree. I disagree because if you're Donald Trump's VP, you do not, I repeat, you do not have as big of a platform as you may think, because Trump is the man. Right. He is the voice. Mm-hmm. You are the understudy. Mike Pence didn't have much of a say at all publicly. People knew him. Donald Trump would allow him to go places. But he wasn't like some guy that you thought, oh, he could be president someday. Mm-hmm. No freaking way. However, if you have a cabinet position or you're in another position, you can talk freely on a daily basis. You can promote yourself, whereas you can't do that when you're the vice president.
Well, like
that's just my opinion.
Well, and Peg looks like she's agreeing with you, because she was thinking Vivek would be a great press secretary.
Hell yeah, he'd be the best ever.
So maybe that is.
He'd even be better than Kellyanne.
That's right. Oh, for sure.
And I didn't even think that was
And I
possible.
thought she was really good too. And Jill was saying there too that she heard Vivek on a different interview, and he was saying that he would take the VP, but they were looking at him for more appropriate position for him. And that goes to what you were saying. So yeah, he would be a great press secretary. And that is true. With Trump, he's such a big presence that you might not be able to do as much as, say, a press secretary or something. And Vivek would be great at that. He really would. He would. And
that's why he's, he needs to be out there speaking, talking. Vice presidents don't do that.
They don't.
They're looked at, as running. And yes, you're set up to run for president, but if nobody knows everything and you haven't been allowed to talk, boy, and Vivek out there, man,
and that's where Tim Scott, I hate to say that they're mealy mouths, but Tim Scott and Ben Carson, I love both of them, but they like to be in the shadows of Donald Trump or of anything, because they're great humans, but they don't care about being in the limelight. Because I even thought Tim Scott seemed, and President Trump said this, he seemed more excited to be on Trump's, campaign, so to speak, than on his own. So those are choices I could see why he picked them.
And Jill says Kamala talks way too much.
Right. Yeah, she does. She needs to be quiet.
But I'm entertaining you all because you're all into the VP pick stuff right now. I haven't gotten there yet. But Paul says, regardless, we need to worry what the left has in store after Biden can't run this November due to a health issue.
Mm-hmm.
They have a plan, and it will rally their base and people, and it will pull people who might be on the fence.
Yep, that's very true. That's very true.
Vivek would be a great Secretary of State. He is not going to be press secretary. He is a very wealthy man, of course. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense too. That does make sense. So
a very strong AG is more important than the VP, without a doubt.
Good point, Sally.
Newsom is scaring me. That from the chat line. I don't know why you would say that.
Well, because that's who most people that we hear are saying is going to be the choice if Biden steps back, because they can control him. I mean, look how he acted, that he was bribing people in California with some French fries to take the jab. So he is a dangerous man, and the fact that he's like Biden, that he is very controlled by the deep state and Obama and anyone else in that ilk. So that's why I think people are afraid of Newsom.
He ate poison so he could get people to stick poison in them.
Correct.
It was just funny watching him.
Yeah.
Just eat
How
them.
ironic, wasn't it?
Right.
Very much so.
No, it is. Maybe the VP pick will be important when Trump is in jail and can't campaign.
Yep, that's true too. You know what somebody said to me last night? I was at a volleyball thing, and somebody said, you know what? and they were all for Donald Trump. So it wasn't that they weren't. They were just saying, wouldn't this be great if Donald Trump was in jail and he was still elected president? And I was like, well, I don't know that that would be great, but I see it happening. I see that he could literally, the inauguration would be different, because if he was in jail, where would the inauguration be? On televised? While he's sitting in a jail cell?
He's not going. There's not going to be Secret Service in Rikers Island with Donald Trump. Okay, it's not happening. Although that would fit the narrative of the Democratic scene that we just saw play out in Judge Merchan's courtroom.
You betcha.
But he's not going to have his. He's not going to have his protection taken away. Okay.
Yeah, that's just.
And do you really think the protection is going into Rikers Island? No. No. I'll get in that Trump bikini here, or whatever you guys said, my banana hammock or whatever you.
Your banana hammock. Your red, white, and blue banana hammock.
If he goes to jail with his Secret Service at Rikers, then I'll do a show in my banana hammock.
Okay, so
but that would not be fun. That would be painful for everybody.
Okay, but I'm going to hold you to this. So what is today? June 6th, right?
June 6th.
It's D-Day, so it's June
That's
6th.
right.
So if he goes to jail, you guys, then we're going to have a show where Vic is in his red, white, and blue banana hammock.
Yeah, but somebody's gonna have to buy it for me.
I'll buy it for you.
Yeah, we've gone off the beaten path there. That's for sure. Okay. Megan says Mayorkas makes that decision and nothing he does surprises me. He is evil, of course.
Yep. See, I'm with her on that, because things that I thought would never happen in my lifetime is happen. And if he makes that decision, he has to make a choice now. Is his Trump derangement syndrome that bad that he's going to put him in prison? Is it? I think it is. But the only reason he wouldn't do it is because it would rally even more people to vote for Trump. That's the only reason I don't think he goes to jail. That's it. Because if it's left up to him, Trump goes to jail. And that's just not fear mongering. That's what he wants to do. They won't stop. They've been saying, think about this, Vic. Look at people like Kaysen and all those people since 2015. They have been saying Donald Trump is going to jail. That's all they care about. That's what they've been saying for 8 years. So I see it happening. I hope I'm wrong, though. Well, part of me, part of me hopes it, because I don't want him sitting in jail. I don't want him going through that. Even if it looks cool for optics and people vote for him, I don't want that man sitting. If he doesn't like the icebox, I don't want him sitting in a prison.
Yeah, I know. By the way, I was told, Vic, PRL has a banana hammock for you.
That's right, they do.
And July 11th is coming soon.
It is coming soon. It's coming fast, you guys.
What's July 11th? Well, that's sentencing. And to see where we're going to go with the whole sentencing.
That's right.
But a man who certainly did not have Donald Trump's back. And I don't want to hear anybody try to say that he did, because he didn't. Bill Barr. He says that there will be, I guess, they're going to overturn it. He says the conviction will be overturned. He says it will be overturned.
I hope he's right.
He says, quote, I was surprised they, being the Democrats, deep state, New York, went ahead with it. It was an abomination.
Oh, stop it, Bill Barr.
And everyone's talked about that. But you think about it. How are the American people going to react in a very close election if Trump loses and the case is overturned? Which it will be. He just said it. Which it will be. The case will be overturned.
But do you trust Bill Barr?
This case will be overturned.
This coming from somebody we've already proven to speak from feelings, not facts.
Correct. Because Bill Barr is, he is just.
But he doesn't want to look stupid on this.
I don't know.
He has an ego. I interviewed him one-on-one years back here in St. Louis. He has an ego.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm sure he does have an ego. But he also, like, I thought that he was very disloyal to Trump.
Of course he was.
So you're right. It could be overturned, I guess, Bill Barr, but I don't trust anything that comes out of his mouth now.
He says it's unfair to the voter. And the co-conspirator in all of this is the mainstream media. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Who will not talk about the issues or give honest reports on anything regarding Trump. So he had Trump's back in this interview, saying what he said.
I don't think
He was
had it
on
back.
He said this on Fox Across America.
Right. And like the chat line are saying they don't trust him. He's a big fat liar. That I don't think he's having Trump's back on that. I think he just, maybe he does know something and know that, and he has a big ego, so he doesn't want to be wrong. But I don't think he's doing it to have Trump's back. I really don't. Because he goes down on the list of the top 20 of the biggest traitors to Donald Trump. Mm-hmm.
And if he goes down as one of the biggest traitors, he's still saying that this is going to be overturned.
And I hope he's right.
And he's going public with that.
Good.
On Fox Across America.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got nothing to gain by saying that, by the way.
I don't know. I think he's another one. Like Paul saying Barr used that same media during January 6th. And, and that's where he was a big traitor to Trump on that. I just think it gives him back in the limelight to say something.
Yeah, but he's been in the limelight saying stuff the whole time since he was working for Trump. He has been.
Yeah, but he's been irrelevant for a while. And nobody's listening to him anymore. But people are all listening to, is Trump going to go to jail or is he not going to jail? So people are listening to him. And, people have a short memory. A lot of people don't realize how bad Bill Barr is for people who really believed there was election interference. A lot of people didn't believe there was election interference. Look at all the news pundits that are even conservative news pundits still believe that Joe Biden won fair and square. He's all part of that.
The ultimate conspiracy theory is this. What if all this is staged for reasons unknown to the peons?
She's not wrong.
What if all of what is staged?
All of this. Like all of this is one big Truman show.
I've got a theory that they want us stressed and just uncomfortable. They don't want us to be comfortable. They don't want us to. I just think that I think we work better when we're stressed. I really think that it's about production. And I don't know. I have no idea. But
well, I mean, you and Donna both aren't wrong. A lot of people have started to understand what the deep state, the whole world order, World Economic Forum, whole health organization or whatever that is, that they are a different breed. They truly believe, and I've said this on the show before, that they truly believe that they are the elites, that they are whoever put them. They don't believe in a God. So the gods of great people, and we are just all down here little peons sucking their air out of them. So I have no reason to believe that what Donna is saying is wrong. I don't know why they do some of the things that they do, but they just think that we're taking the air that they breathe, and they're trying to put a whole show on us.
Well, look at what happened with COVID. They gave us 2 weeks off, and now there's no, like people don't want to work.
Right.
So maybe this stress, maybe there's something to it. The stress keeps us going.
That's
I don't know, because when they gave us a break, we broke.
That's right. We said fear and laziness is what they breeded during that, is scared. Be so scared that you're an 75-year-old woman and you can't see your grandkids because that beautiful little 2 or 3-year-old is going to kill you. So they even broke relationships between grandparents and grandchildren that have not been restored. As you guys, I told you earlier this week, that happened in my own household. And it's just now being restored this many years later. But you're right, Joe. That is a very good point. They made us lazy. Not us. I'm not talking about us. But they made the general public. And look at our youth today. They don't work. They don't work. And we did the whole Fox report yesterday about how many people act a certain way that they even bring their parents to a job interview. We have a completely different generation now by things that the government was going to keep us safe from.
Yeah, speaking of the government and how things happen, we cover those stories. When it comes to the election, Gen Z people, guess what the most important voting issue is for Gen Z? Lizzie, I told you at the beginning of the show.
I'm not going to answer it this time.
What is the most important voting issue for Gen Z?
Mm-hmm.
I set it up for you now.
So now I can say it. Housing. It's
housing prices.
Yes.
Housing prices. So much so, people, 9 out of 10 adult members of Gen Z surveyed said that housing affordability is a key factor when deciding who to vote for in the upcoming U.S. presidential election, making it the top issue for that cohort as it prepares to go to the polls. This is according to the survey and report released Monday by Redfin. Redfin does a lot of these.
They do.
Housing for Gen Z and housing prices. I don't know how you change it and what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know how you do either. Because when you think about that 4 years ago for that age group and millennials was abortion, abortion, abortion. Now they don't know where they can live because you can't rent an apartment cheap anymore. And because they're renting and renting, they don't have a down payment for a house. And if they can't afford the house, it's not in a safe neighborhood. So they're growing up around a lot of crime and they don't know what to do. And that generation too is weaker in the fact that they're not strong enough to think out of the box.
Paul says mortgage rates aren't coming down anytime soon. I
Nope.
agree. Marry the mortgage, date the interest rate.
That's right.
That's what Paul believes.
Well, insurance rates, Vic, are so expensive.
I don't know if that's something Trump could fix quickly anyway. I just don't think he could.
I don't think so. I don't think in 4 years, because it takes longer than that. I think they can work on lowering the interest rate. But the problem is the damage has been done. So many people over the last 4 years or so have bought a house way above what the real value is. And so then we could be heading for similar to 2008, where you bought a house for $500,000 and now it appraises for $3 million. And that's what we're heading. And then you've got, but then you still have to insure. Listen to the racket. You still have to insure that house because of your loan for $500,000. So you're really insuring a $300,000 house for $500,000. It's the circular problem that we're facing. And the kids and our taxes are higher than they've ever been too. So it's hard due to the insurance and the taxes. And now you have a house that's not worth what it was 4 years ago. I can just say our house has depreciated in the last 6 months, $15,000. But you know what? It's really still probably worth less than what they're saying it is, but the numbers are coming down.
You know, Jeannie says that she thinks that they're building all these apartments for them, meaning I guess the immigrants. I believe that they're going to make the housing market so steep. It's for us.
Correct.
It's
correct.
For us.
It is even for us, because I noticed that the climate of, so to speak, of my grocery store has changed between illegal immigrants. And I've met more people in the grocery store that are probably 75 and older, that they came from the blue county nearby because they didn't like what Sam Page did to them. But now they're coming over, they're selling their houses while it's high, coming over here into our county and living in these $3,000 a month beautiful apartments. And there we go. And so they're bringing their liberal ideology out here too. So it's a whole problem to just mess our country up. And I do feel sorry for the Gen Xers. I've got 2 millennials that they both own houses. And that was because my husband and I were adamant, you own a house. Don't be in an apartment. But now I have a daughter that's my middle daughter, that she is a Z. And unless she would get married, she cannot afford a house anytime soon. Anytime soon.
It's
not even a condo.
No, it's sickening.
It is.
It's sickening what happens. Mitch says, I'm telling you, the double price on homes creates double price in property tax.
That's right.
On everyone.
That's
it does.
Right. It does. That's exactly right. Our taxes are higher and our insurance. If you look deep, the big insurance, maybe not your average insurance agent, they're probably great. Honestly, they are. But it's the big insurance corporations that are making more money by raising the prices of these houses. Our government gets more tax money, and so do these big insurance companies. It's a racket.
And the only way you're going to get a down payment is if somebody gives it to you or a family member gives it to you. Coming from the chat line as well, boomers are stuck. We are in a fixed low interest rate.
That's right. That's right.
Therefore, we can't downsize because a smaller home is now more expensive than what we live in.
That's right.
Therefore, new home buyers have little inventory.
That's exactly right. She's exactly right. When you can't even, the boomers can't even move to downsize, because it's the secular problem that they've created on purpose. And so
why can't they move?
Well, because you probably have a 3% interest
You're going to have
rate.
to pay a higher rate.
Yes, you probably have a 3% interest rate on a house that's probably half paid off.
But why would you want to move then? Just because it's too much?
It's too big. It gets to
And
the
you're
point-
still paying on, so it's not
and you're
paid
paying
off.
the high taxes.
Okay.
So at this point, my grandparents,
Dear God.
they sold their big house and moved to a smaller house. And we're in the middle of was trying to do that too. We're going to move to a smaller house. You can't do that, because then you're taking all, also Vic, you're taking all of the equity you earned in your house to be put on a house that's worth less, but you still have to insure it the same way. You're better off staying. So I feel sorry for boomers too. I really do. I mean, the only people that are okay out of this, truly, and we say this all the time, but for different reasons, is the very poor, because they're going to get free stuff still, and is the very, very wealthy. But if you're even middle class or upper middle class, you're getting punished right now in a big, big way.
I hate it. I hate it all. Because it's we're supposed to have hope and stay positive, and I agree with doing that. But it is so damn tough. Greg says, keep them broken, dumb down. New world order.
Yep.
Too much to take care of, guys. Can't afford to downsize.
Yeah, it's too much. And that's why they want to downsize to begin with, because you have this larger home and it costs you more to heat and cool and cut the grass and keep it up. So when you get to be pushing 60 or whatever, you want to get a smaller home, but you can't. I mean, the whole thing is just a broken record.
Well, and here, even in rural areas, I mean, they've done this in cities. They've bought like all the major apartment complexes and trailer parks. So even in rural areas, they're doing this, and they're raising the rent on everybody. So you can't even move out of the city and go to a rural area for cheaper, because it's just as expensive, because all these big corporations or big companies are buying up all these, even the low income housing.
They are. If you look even very rural areas now, there's a lot of rental homes in those areas, more so than ever too, because the big corporations are coming in that are affiliated with BlackRock, and they're buying up these homes, renting them out. So a lot of times, our parents, I know in the 80s, really mid 70s, moved from someplace, and we moved, quote, rural, which now is suburban, and those prices are so jacked up. And if you look in your neighborhood, a lot of the homes in your neighborhood are owned by a big corporation now.
Yeah, it's hitting me. Most of the incomes are based on housing. Most of these, which means the government has total control. They do.
That's right.
And here we sit there wondering what's going to happen.
Yep.
It's going on in most neighborhoods everywhere.
It is. And it doesn't matter the price range anymore, whether it's city, county, rural, or anything. And like Matthew's saying, you will own nothing and be happy.
Okay, here's the deal. Greg is telling us they're even buying up trailer home parks.
They are.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, no, but what I don't understand is why.
Well,
to raise rent and make they're wanting there to be no low income anywhere.
Correct.
They're raising the rent. They've done this to my parents. My parents live in a trailer. They've raised the rent 3 times since a big New York corporation. Don't know who they are.
And
big
they
New
rent.
York corporation. Yes, they rent. Well, no, they actually own the home, but they rent the pad.
Yeah,
and they've raised the pad
price.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're on a fixed income because they're on Social Security. They're retired. So they can't, they can only go so far with that. And they've already discussed selling it to get an apartment. But if they do that, they're going to be paying more. So they have nowhere to go.
A area where I grew up as a kid, Maryland Heights in the St. Louis area, says half of his neighborhood, Todd says half of his neighborhood in the Maryland Heights area is now owned by big corporation rentals.
Yes. That is true. That's that, and no matter where it is. So you could be in a nice area like Maryland Heights, or you can be in an area that's a little blighted that has a bunch of trailer parks, regardless of where it is, whether it's urban, suburban, rural, it doesn't matter. It's almost becoming unaffordable. And I think it was Todd too, and forgive me if it wasn't Todd, was saying that they were talking to their hairdresser that's getting close to retiring, and says they can't wait to retire so they can get basically a free apartment. And that's what's happening, is they're putting people in these apartments and they're like owning you. It's literally going on.
It's all the smart city. Remember the smart cities? Remember that?
I didn't know that China was buying our housing here. I knew that they tried to do it in Detroit back in 2008 when Detroit started to make a comeback, when they started to knock down homes, because they could buy pennies. I mean, they could buy homes for penny on the dollar.
And I
And
don't
that's
know
what
if it's
China was doing.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's China here. When you research, there's a lot of places around here, and I've researched where they're coming from. One of them is a subsidiary of BlackRock, and it's Open Door, and they are an American-owned company located in Oklahoma, and they just have businessmen that are owning it. Now, maybe they're affiliated with China, but I don't think so. But I think they are. I don't think they are an affiliate of BlackRock.
Missy says, same in my neighborhood in O'Fallon. 5 homes in my subdivision have been bought by investors and are now rentals.
Yes. And
Is that the new way of going, renting?
That's what they want you to do, because they want you to own nothing and be happy. And so Mandy's right when she says that. And O'Fallon is probably the number one. Here's another thing. For a while, and I kept screaming that to the rooftops, O'Fallon, especially North O'Fallon, is being inundated with corporations buying. Now the new thing that's going on is, we already know about the illegal problem, and this goes hand in hand with what we're talking about. A friend called me yesterday, and her son is a St. Peter's Police Department. Now, this is I'm talking about something local, but stay with me here. It's happening all over the United States, and here's what they're doing. Their money is running out. So when these illegals come in, they stay in hotels. They only stay in there for like 6 months or so, and then they do shut their money off. And then when they shut their money off, now these people are homeless. So now you've got non-English speaking people that are drinking. Like, this is an example that was yesterday. This particular illegal was, I'm assuming Mexican, got kicked out of a hotel. So what they did is they pulled the mattresses. Now, this is in St. Peter's, a very nice suburb of St. Louis, pulled the mattresses out of the hotel, and then they were laying on them in the parking lot behind the St. Peter's police station. And so then what happens? This is the biggest part of the story, and it's happening all over the United States. After Eric asked that question about what are mayors doing, I called some of the mayors, and they're saying our hands are tied. And this proved it yesterday. This guy, they arrest him. He's drunken, disorderly. They have to get a translator. The translator can't understand him, so they have him in jail. But here's where the real problem is. They called ICE. ICE doesn't come. And that's not because our mayors don't want them to. That's not because our police officers don't want them to. ICE is a federal organization, and Joe Biden or whoever's telling them won't let ICE come here until after the allotted time. So if you get picked up for drunken and disorderly conduct, you're only held for 18 hours to 24 hours. Then they have to let you go, and then they're gone. So that's what we're dealing with here in all of the United States. Besides our housing problem, we're living amongst illegals who now their money that Joe Biden promised them is running out. And they're getting kicked out of these hotels, stealing the mattresses off these beds, being drunk, and all this kind of stuff. I still think they're getting money on some sort of a card, or once their money runs out, they're working for cash. And we can't get rid of them because ICE isn't coming to pick these people up. Our police officers are calling ICE, and nobody's coming.
Okay. So why isn't ICE arriving? And would ICE be local in the St. Louis area?
No, you have to get federal money to get ICE to come here, from what I'm understanding from the police officers, is that we don't have local money to deal with ICE. ICE comes from our federal government. And so whoever's in charge of that, whether that would be Jake Sullivan, whether that would be Obama, or somebody under them, would be the one that gives you the authority to have ICE come. ICE isn't coming, people, all over the United States, until sometimes they show up, but they show up already after legally you have to let them out. So our mayors are dealing with stuff. So you guys, it really isn't our mayors. Our mayors don't like this.
Would that be the governor?
The governor. So some people are saying the governor, including in our state. I like Mike Parson as a person, but yes, he could be doing more with the federal money that we're getting, and nobody knows why he isn't doing that. Or what is it? Because nobody can get a straight answer. He won't answer that particular phone call. So it has to be your governor getting federal funds to get ICE here. And here in the heartland of Missouri, we can't get ICE here. ICE isn't coming. So, and that was somebody that's very credible that told me that yesterday, that Their hands are tied. They were dealing with mattresses and literally right behind. This apartment complex was right behind the police station. And all they can do is arrest them and hold them for the allotted time unless ICE comes. And ICE
Todd says he
isn't
could see
coming.
Mike Kehoe doing more.
Mike Kehoe is a badass. I will say that. If you really do not like illegals, the one I truly believe that will get illegals, I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm just telling you out of my research, Mike Kehoe would be the one to most get these illegals out. Yes.
I did want to show you a video, but we'll save it for tomorrow. We'll save it because it is 10.
Yeah.
Don's like, my brain's about ready to explode. So ready for Free for All Friday. By the way, coming up tomorrow.
For sure.
Yeah, this next video will be good for it too. But next, we got Will Scharf, attorney. He's running for attorney general against Andrew Bailey, who we had in the show earlier this week. Will Scharf's been super, super, super busy because he's been assisting with the Trump hush money case. And he will also be talking to us about the possibilities of having a conviction overturned. Some very interesting stuff that he's been talking about, that he's been showing. So we'll talk to Will. I think Eric will be back. Kelly Mano is back. We'll have a full house. We'll be ready to rock and roll. We'll get those shots ready to go, Joe. We'll figure that out for people. It's going to be fire.
Yes.
By the way, Robert says India is now buying up trailer parks in North Detroit suburb.
Wow.
And that's not a nice area. That's one of the, you'll hear me talk about how Detroit has turned, North Detroit is not very good. Matthew Hicks says, I call Parson Governor Autopilot. I think he's a great guy personally, but he avoids controversy at all parts. And he's just part of the Good Old Boys Network in Jefferson City.
And a lot of people do feel that way. And that might even
Those
be
are
true.
People's opinions.
Yeah. And that might even be true. He's nice. I've met him. He's a really great
love him.
guy. I do. I think he's great. But I think that he's great in a time when we don't have this much stuff going down. So you need to look at, in any of your states, which governor is, Vic has been saying this the entire time of the show, that our border is our number one problem. So you need to look at the governor who's going to be your governor pick, who just doesn't yap on social media. You need a badass that's going to get him out of here.
But now, we got to, now the problem, it's gone from being the border to what we do with people here.
That's right. And they're here.
It's an indirect of the border, but it's like, okay, now they're here. What the hell are we going to do with at least 11 million people?
That's right. And you got to figure out, not only can they legislate it, are they strong enough to do it? Because a lot of people say what they're going to do and then they don't ever do it.
So we got a lot to do there. We appreciate you guys jumping in on the show today, as you do every day. Cancel this. If you know of any people that would like to support us, get behind what we're doing, help us do more programming, anything of that nature, please let us know. Vic at canceltheshow.com, Lizzie at canceltheshow.com. Also, if you know of advertisers, anything that we can do, we have donation buttons. Anything is appreciated. Anything. We're grateful to keep our free speech going here. So for Pro Joe and Lizzie Sparks, I'm Vic Faust. Guys, have an awesome day. We'll see you for Cancel This, the Free for All edition tomorrow. Thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing our shows, and just letting people know what we do. That does it for the fastest 2 hours in podcasting. We'll see you tomorrow.